Do you want God's plan for your life? Do you want to discover your calling? Do you want to build a business that's aligned with God's will? Hey girl, hey! I'm Jeanette, business and faith coach. After a decade in the military, the Air Force said, see you later, and I had to find my true calling. Want to know how God directed my life from a cybersecurity engineer to a faith and business mentor? In this podcast, I'll teach you how to start a business, how to know your business is God's calling, monetization techniques, how to trust the Holy Spirit, and how to set boundaries to listen to His word alone. Ready to become unapologetically unstoppable? Hey girl, hey, welcome. I'm so glad today we have Paula Burns, and she is a creative business mentor, predominantly working with female business owners to help them connect with their true selves and stand out with their heartfelt businesses. When I first met Paula, we clicked instantly, and I know you guys are going to just love her as much as I do, and it's going to be fantastic. So, Paula, is there anything else you want to say to introduce yourself?
Oh, goodness. Well, you did a very good job there, Jeanette. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really about, helping women connect with who they are, but also using my natural creative skills to get them to promote themselves in a way that they'll stand out. So, yeah, I'm so passionate about it.
I love that this is your journey because I feel like that is also my mission, like in a different way, obviously, right? But the mission is still the same. Like, what are we
Yeah.
made to do? And do that. And then the creative part of like just being like, okay, you can do this, you can do this, but what are you supposed to do? Like, all these strategies
Mm.
can work, but what is your strategy?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's that this is why I always start with them as an individual because, there's so many things out there, so many options, and it's so easy to get distracted thinking, oh, I'll try this, oh, I'll try this, oh, I'll do this, but not really thinking, does it really suit me and who I am and what I stand for? Or am I just going with it because it's the trend right now? Because there's so many
Right.
trends, right?
Always. I'm still not on TikTok, and I feel like that's a big trend. So
You need to get on there.
So tell me about how you first met God. Like, what is your like come back to Jesus or come to Jesus thing?
Well, Jeanette, I grew up in a Christian household. So my parents were preachers, so to speak. They, set up various churches and, sort of traveled a little bit. And it was just, I was always in that environment. And I suppose, yeah, it's one of those things where you feel like it's always part of you, but then you have to get to a point in your life that you make your own decision. And so for me, I felt like it was when I was around 12 or 13. Now, at that time, I was living in Jamaica because I was born in the UK, but then we moved to Jamaica when I was about 10 and lived there for 4 years. And I would say it was just a really, really special part of my life because it was the time when I felt like I developed into, I was learning about who I was,
Right.
and it was a great time as well for me to find, Jesus and bring, God into my life more. We went to a fabulous church there as well called Open Bible, and it was just such a great atmosphere. We grew so much within that space, and so that's what I remember profoundly in terms of, that was the age where I made a decision. But then I felt like, when you're 12 or 13, you're still learning, aren't you? You're still
Yeah.
growing. So you are going to sort of like, be swayed in different directions, and you're still finding out what is your truth and what is your belief and how close, and building a relationship with God, really.
Absolutely. I feel like when you're at that age, it's like you're like going through puberty, you're discovering things
Yeah.
about yourself. And so, of course, God is going to be part of that journey as well.
Absolutely. So I felt like, it wasn't until I then got into my, my teens and then into my late teens, it's a continual build in my relationship with
Yeah.
God.
So what made you so unapologetic about your faith to be like, no, I am a Christian. I am a Jesus follower. I am that person.
Oh, do you know what? I thought about this and I feel it every day.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can explain. And I feel like, when people talk about their faith, it's something that is such a personal thing that it's not something you can say to somebody, well, this is how it works because you
Right.
follow this formula and this and this. And I think, there's so much of that out there in terms of religion. It's like follow a formula and that's religion. And I always say to people, I'm not about religion. I'm about real faith and personal relationship with God. And so, I feel like I live that every single day
Yes.
because, it is the experiences that I go through, how I get past one situation to the next. And I look back and think just how good God has been. And I think with my life now, I really feel like I've come to a stage where I I don't question things.
Yeah.
It's like if something doesn't work out, I'm not sitting there going, "Oh, I wish it did," or I want it to work. It should work. I'm at that stage where if it doesn't work, I believe that it wasn't my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that God didn't want me to have it. If I'd had it later on down the road, it wouldn't have been as amazing as I thought it was going to be. And so it's great to get to that point where yes, there's a disappointment. We're only human. But then when you're at a point where you're like, okay, I'll just let it go because I know that something else is going to come up later on down the road. That's for me.
And normally it's bigger and more exciting than you could have dreamed of,
Yes,
honestly. That's like,
absolutely.
no, you might think you want this, but really, I got this other thing over here.
I know. And yeah, so I'm all okay with that.
So I saw your answer to the spiritual gifts quiz. Do you remember what it was?
Vaguely, but you remind me because
It was
you've
the
got
gift of prophecy. So how do you feel about that? Were you surprised or were you like, I don't even know what this means? Tell me more.
Oh my goodness. Um, I don't think I was surprised. I found it was very much in my nature.
Yeah.
People have said that to me, that I changed their lives. and and sometimes I don't even know what I did. you know, which I don't know whether that sounds right or wrong, but yeah, the feedback and sometimes people come back to me years after I've met them and say, "You were so instrumental in changing my life, and thank
That's
you so
amazing.
much for that." And I totally, I get so emotional when people say that. I've had it said so many times to me, and that's why I feel like I've got a special gift,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I have to put it out there. And I think having come to this point now in my life where I do what I do in terms of mentoring, I really feel that this is my path.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I started off at working, my business is events and weddings and special events and weddings, but it was always about bringing people together and having that special space. And then, it's just naturally led me into this path where I am working with business owners and with individuals and mentoring them and helping them show up as their better selves.
Yeah. I think that's amazing because with the gift of prophecy, you also can see what sin is and like you want to restore relationships, which is so like, duh, you're an event planner. You know what I mean? You want people to have relationships. You want people to be together. Tell me more about your
Mhm.
business. How did you start your business? What made you think like, I'm going to be an event planner?
Oh, do you know what? I worked in a corporate company for over 20 years, just over 20 years. And it was a point in my life where my mum became seriously ill, terminally ill. And it was a big thing for us in the family. My mother was quite, a major figure in the family, which most mums are. And so when mum became ill, I think it sort of just struck us all. But for me personally, because I can't speak for everybody else, but for me personally, it was a thing where um, it just hit me. Life isn't a rehearsal. It's not a rehearsal. We're here to do something and we have to get on and do it. And yes, I'd spent those years in corporate and I've learned so much from that experience. I did my MBA, I worked my way through customer services, I did business development, project management, business analyst. So I had everything, all of that experience within that arena that I could take out and do something that was more about me. And for me, I was always involved in creative things. I sang in a band, I did amateur dramatics, I loved writing short stories, which is something I've now used with my mentoring. I write sort of like creative posts for my clients as well, because I love creative writing. So everything about me as an individual was about creativity. And yes, with the events, I thought, do you know what? I want something fun where I can come up with different ideas and then I can bring everybody together. So, yeah, I decided I wanted to do this because I know my mum had done a lot in her life, but there was a lot of things that she wanted to have done. And I didn't want to come to a place where I felt like I was just going through the motions, which is what I was doing working for a company. So, and ever since I set up my business, there's been challenges, definitely been challenges, because anybody who tells you that they're running a business and everything's smooth is lying.
Yes.
They're absolutely lying to you. But I can absolutely say I never looked back. I've never looked back in terms of I want to be back in an environment where I feel as if I'm controlled.
Yeah.
I want to be out of a controlled environment.
I 100% agree with that. As somebody who's in the military, which was all control, no, let's get out there. Let's go do our own thing. I like to call entrepreneurs bushwhackers because we're just out there bushwhacking, each of us on our own, but like, yes, keep going, girl. Yes, keep going, girl. Like on our own path.
And then some people are looking at us thinking, what are they up to now? What are they doing? I know people think that about me. I come up with these weird and wonderful ideas, but they always work in the end.
Yes. Which is like, I love being like multi-passionate because I can do so many different things at one time where some people just get stuck in doing one thing. And I just love how we were created. Like, this is just amazing, right?
I know. I love it.
What's one thing along your journey that you would say this, maybe a story, give me a story of like, where you're like, okay, after that, I knew I was unstoppable. I knew that nothing could take me down.
I think it's how I am as a person and my personality. The stuff that gets me excited gets people worried.
I love that.
It really does. I'm like, somebody throws a spanner in the works and I'm like, oh my gosh, how exciting. Let's go do this. And people are looking at me thinking, are you sure? I get excited about those things. And also, I love the idea of problem solving.
Yeah.
So looking at something and thinking, oh, how can we rearrange this so that this is, what we're looking for? Yes, it might look difficult, but let's see what we can do with it and create something different. And I think I'm just wired differently. And I love the fact that I am wired differently because it makes life so much more exciting.
Yes.
I say this thing to people about I see things that other people don't see. And sometimes people think I'm saying, oh, well, I'm seeing spirits or I'm seeing whatever. And I'm like, and it's like, you tell me something and I can see a way of dealing with that issue that you've got that you haven't seen. And that's what my mind works like. So I can see all these opportunities that other people just don't naturally see. And this is why it works really well for the mentoring, because as soon as I start talking to someone, they tell me their different challenges, and I'm saying, well, what about this? How do
Right.
you not see that you could do this? Have you tried this? What are some of the things that have come up for you here? And this is what's making the difference.
I
So
think
yeah,
that's so amazing because when we're business owners, sometimes we're just too close too. We're too close to the
yes,
problem. We're like, I can't see anything.
yeah,
All I see is all these trees and these weeds.
I
You're like,
know.
no, just go this way. It's fine. Like there's another
Yes.
way out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's because as well, when you go through those experiences, you you've got something to draw on as well. So as well as the fact that I'm naturally like that in terms of being wired to think differently, also the experiences that I've had over the years, I can relate to those when I'm talking to my clients. So, if they say things like, I've got no money at all coming in, what can I do? Or, this is a really difficult time. I've been there. So this is what I did. And it's not as bad as you think. So it's like it's that whole thing where I can talk people through, okay, let's just breathe. Let's just breathe. And let's just start taking one step at a time. And you're gonna get past it. You absolutely are gonna get past this stage. But you've just got to breathe, and you've just got to start putting a plan in place. And yeah, I love doing that, and I love seeing the transformations.
What is I feel like you were like on the edge of giving us like a really good gym there. Like what's one thing that you would tell a client that is struggling with like maybe not getting money or they've gone through something that they're like feeling stuck in? What's one thing that you would actually tell them? So I'm like,
I would say, um, do what you need to survive, but then stay focused and keep taking just one step at a time.
yes.
So if you're not making money right now in what it is that you're doing, what is it that you can do to start making some money? Okay, even if it is something like stacking shelves, just
Yeah.
do something. Just start making some money somewhere, but don't lose your focus, because that's what happens a lot of the times is you find something that gives you, it's only supposed to be an interim, and then all of a sudden you've lost your focus of what you're really supposed to be doing. So think about, the stuff that you need to do that is going to get some regular cash in, and then keep your mind on where you're going and where you want to be. And then keep
Yes.
taking just one step at a time, because you won't see the next step until you take the first one.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the next one. And then you'll see the next one. But yeah, that is the advice that I give.
I feel like some people get stuck in that of being like, I can't do anything because I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there. That's what they need is
Yes.
just that
I
one first
know.
step.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like I said, I'm wired differently. It's like, um, I'll tell you a story. I was in Antigua, and they were talking about, how the government allows you to buy land over there and build, and certain people can do things. And there asking all these questions about how can I buy land in Antigua, and then who would I need to see? Not that I have any money to buy to buy land, but this is what I'm like. I will ask those questions because you never know. You
Yeah.
absolutely never know. So just open your mind.
And then once you have all the information, you might be the person that's talking to somebody else. It's like, yeah, I really
Yeah,
want to buy land in Antigua and I have no idea. And you'd be like, I know how to do that.
exactly. And that's why people look at me and think, "What? How do you know?"
That's
But
amazing.
it's
I
also
love
an
that.
exciting and interesting experience as well, because when you
Right.
have those conversations with people, it opens your mind up so much more.
It's like not putting limits on what you can do or how you can live life or anything. You're just
Mm,
limitless.
yeah,
I think people love
exactly.
those limits. They love to be put themselves in a box and be like, I can only go to this 9 to 5 and that's it.
Yeah.
No,
Or they
you can
say,
do so much more.
oh, I know, and they say things like, oh, it's okay for you, or it's okay for them. It's so much easier for them. And you think, "Well, no, they're no different from you, honestly." And that is one of the phrases that I do dislike a lot, is when, if people say it maliciously, oh, it's okay for you, it's really easy. and
I just
um,
didn't stop. I just did not stop. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Just found a way. And there's always a way. There is always a way.
I think that's what people get stuck on too, is they think there's only one way. I think we talked about, yeah, we
Mm,
talked about that. There's millions of different ways. You got
yeah,
to find out what works for you and your, like you were saying, your personality, your morals, your ethics, whatever that is.
yeah,
Figure that out, and then you can go give it.
exactly.
So, what is your favorite Bible verse and why?
Oh, my favorite is Psalm 27, verse 1. Do you know what
Oh,
that is?
no, what is that one?
It is. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the light of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?
That is so good. Like, I always think of Jesus as the light. So, like, if I'm in the light, you're
Yes,
right. There's
I know.
nothing you can fear. It is so great.
Yeah. And it's funny that it was, when I was thinking about this verse, I thought it's funny that I have like a recent program that I've just launched for business women called Business Wallflower to Spotlight Sensation.
Ooh.
And honestly, it links to this whole thing, getting yourself in that light, in that spotlight.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so tell me all about your business. How can I work with you? All the things.
Okay. Well, you can find me on my website, which is my name, which is paulaburns.net. And if you are just, you just want to chat, I can chat for 15 minutes. So you can book me for a 15-minute chat. It's amazing how much you can learn from me in 15 minutes. It's absolutely free. And we can talk. And it just sort of gets you, maybe giving you that little bit of a boost of what you need to do next. I have various packages. I work online a lot, so very much we can set up a Zoom or a Teams. And people can have like a 1 hour booster session with me. Or, as I said, I've just launched this program called Business Wallflower to Spotlight Sensation.
Yeah.
If you are someone who has an amazing gift or something that you need to put out there in the world, you're trying to build your business, but you haven't got this confidence that you need, and you're struggling to get seen and to get noticed, this is the program for you. We
Mm.
work through that whole process of understanding who you are, working on your self-love, and really sort of digging deep into your customer and how you're communicating, but using all the great creative stuff that I bring into the mix as well. So it's like a group program, but you have an hour kickoff session with me one-to-one anyway. And then you've got the support of everybody else within a Facebook group, Q&A sessions every week, and also group Zoom sessions every month as well. So it's going to be amazing.
It sounds amazing. And I know you now, and you're just like, you are a light too. So it's going to be so easy to be with you and want to follow you and
Absolutely.
just shine. Like, I love this because those people, our people, everybody needs to learn how to
Mm.
stand out, especially in a crowded marketplace like the online world. So
Yeah,
I'm so glad you're doing
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. This is the biggest thing. It hit me. And again, I feel that my gifts are, as I said, they are from God. And I feel like, if you stay still enough, you hear the voice.
Yes.
It comes from within. And, I really do feel, it's came to me in terms of it sort of led up to this whole place where I talk about, how are you standing out? How are you putting yourself out there? And then this program sort of came from, I was sort of, I think I was in a group session talking about different uh, titles for a program, and I was thinking, what is it that I'm actually want to create for people? A safe space where they can be absolutely authentic and true to themselves. And if it's in a group atmosphere, we can all hold each other. We can all hold each other and support each other through it, because, it's great. I do the one-to-ones, which, some people prefer to have just one-to-one programs with me, which is absolutely fine. But, when you've got other people going through and they're sharing their experiences as well, it's great because you can learn from each other.
Yeah.
So, and it keeps you going. It just keeps you being consistent, because that's, again, one of the major problems that happens is you start and then you're like, oh, don't have the time. I've missed that. Oh, I can't be bothered, or I won't bother carrying on. So yeah, it's something that I'm really passionate about, and passionate about growing the program and growing the group.
Well, I'm so excited. When does it launch?
It launches, well, it's sort of like it's ready for people to jump on board now. People are starting to jump on board now.
Yes.
And I'm opening up the Facebook group in the middle of June, sort of middle of June, end of June. But if you join now, straight away you'll get all the sort of like welcome details. You can you've got like a booking pack that you need to complete, and send that back to me so that I can understand a little bit more about you. And then you can actually straight away book your one-to-one session with me as well. So all of that would be sent out straight away as soon as you join.
And that's on your website?
Yeah, it's on my website. It's under the business mentoring. So if you go to my website, it's got two parts, because you will see that because I still do events and weddings as well. So you go to my website, paulaburns.net. There's business mentoring is one of the drop-down menus. You sort of look at the drop-down, it'll show business wallflower to spotlight sensation. Just click on that and it'll take you to everything you need.
And I'll also put that in the show notes so people can just click the show notes and get it too. So that would be awesome.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic.
All right, Paula, is there anything else you want to tell everybody about you or about your business? I feel like this was like a wonderful conversation.
I know. I'm really enjoying it. I think, I think I've shared. I think people have got the sort of like the basis of what I'm about, and I hope my energy has come across in this podcast.
Oh yeah.
As well. Yes. I definitely hope that has happened. I have got a free group as well on Facebook that if you want to connect with me there, you can find me at Irresistible Business Impact with Paula Burns. That's my group on Facebook. So if you want to come over, you can find me there. And I've also got a free download as well that you can get. So there's so much stuff that, if you want to get seen, you need to start taking steps.
Yes.
And I've created all these little steps for you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Paula, for being here today. All of your links will be in the show notes so everybody can find you and be a part of your free group or your paid group, and it's going to be amazing. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeanette. Thank you. I've really enjoyed it.
Wow, that was so good. So I know that you know somebody that also needs to hear that. So share this episode, leave a review. And I would love if you could watch my free workshop at JeanettePeterson.com/missingpiece. I'll see you guys over on the grams at Jeanette.Peterson. Bye.